What's the energy for the collective in June 2026? Hi, beautiful soul. Thank you for joining me, Mystic Mia, here on A Moment Tarot for another monthly energy forecast. So we're going to look at 4 different energies during this month. And you can pick a crystal if you like to look at your main energy and another crystal for your minor energy. That way it's like more specific to you and your circumstances, your personal life. Otherwise, I'm just going to look at the collective as a whole, but of course more for star seeds, light workers, spiritual teachers, people who are more aligned and connected. But I'm going to look at the energy, how it's connected to you, if you're more aligned, if you're not aligned, but just kind of the energy in the collective. So you can take a second now and pause if you like to pick your crystals out. We have the rhodonite, red tiger's eye, sunstone, and the red jasper. So if you want to take a minute to pick your stones, and then I'm going to get started. You can always listen to the whole reading for the collective energy overall. All right, so what is the energy of the collective? This is the first energy, so it's going to be the most potent. Of course, depending on if you're further along your journey or not, it might affect you more or not at all. But this is the most powerful energy in the collective this month. Queen of Cups, compassion. All right, I'm getting that there's a lot of things coming out this month which will allow the collective to tap into their more compassionate side. You know, kind of looking at people who may have it much, much worse than them and realizing that we all play a part. You know, if you kind of play the ignorant route, like in the spiritual community, they always say, like, keep your vibes high. And, you know, if you go down rabbit holes, that's great to be kind of informed, to be able to expand your light into darker places. But then if you get stuck in them, then you're constantly distracted by the darkness. And so there's like a fine line between pretending nothing is happening and then investing all your emotions and thoughts into the dark things that are happening all the time. And so I do feel like there's a lot more coming out this month, making a lot of people recognize where they are on the spectrum, what their specific role is. There's a lot of energy of people figuring out their purpose, what their specific role is, and feeling okay with it. A lot of people kind of in the spiritual community have like grandiose ideas and visions for their future, and why shouldn't you? But then feel like when they're just playing this like quote unquote smaller part, that they're not living up to their potential, when in fact they are very much in alignment to their role. But because they don't feel like it, you don't feel like you're making a difference, you're not feeling like you're living up to your highest purpose, because you don't have all the recognition in the world, everyone in the world knowing your name, all the money in the world, all the power in the world, that you aren't in alignment. So this recognition of like understanding where you are in the community, in the collective, you know, and being like, yeah, like this one flower has a beautiful life and makes all the difference, and its beauty and its splendor and its friends around it, and kind of where you are is where it's at. Stay still until you're divinely moved. It's kind of like you have your path, and it is grand, and it will seem grand to you, but your grand path might not be so grand to other people, and other people's grand path may not seem so grand to you. We all have our big life purpose. It might just not look big to everyone. And so there's this energy of like, when you get your calling, you'll know. And I feel like it's not just unawakened souls that are getting this kind of compassionate wake up. It's a lot of people even further along their path who kind of have to recognize where their role is in everything, and to only move when it feels right, not to make moves just because it feels like you're moving forward or because it's like more bright lights, more attention, more money. That doesn't always mean the right path, right? And as spiritual people, they kind of do the opposite. They kind of push back the limelight or money or recognition because they feel like they can do more work behind the scenes, or that's not what true purpose alignment looks like. And so there's kind of like a misunderstanding that's being cleared up this month with like what your soul purpose looks like and how it might look differently to different people. But when it feels right, you know when to make the move. So let's see more about this energy, about being aligned and what it looks like to you versus other people. Oh, 2 cards came out here. Oracle, Sacred Living, Spirit Speaking, Intervention, and Sacred Journey, Introversion, Seeker, Self-Knowledge. Okay, so there is energy with like stay still until you're divinely moved. Living sacredly, going kind of introverted for the right journey. So there's going to be a lot of people going kind of inward. And we saw this coming for a while now when like the collective starts awakening. A lot of people, of course, they kind of turn inward. They start working on their inner work and seeing what truly aligns. And a lot of people who've been on this journey, who finished major cycles, major inner cycles, are also kind of looking inward at this time. And it's okay to be quiet and it's okay to go in. You're not going to be stuck in that energy of being alone or feeling like you don't know where to go next or where you're going to find your soul tribe or anything like that, where you're going to find your divine counterpart. Like that's the energy you need to be worried about. Like it's just kind of like when you're about to start a new spiritual cycle, there's a sense where you need to kind of find your inner compass. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be alone for the entire rest of the cycle. In fact, the awakening souls awakening now are going to have a lot of resources and a lot of people to go through the awakening with, whereas a lot of souls that kind of went through their awakening kind of alone, you're going to be coming together with a lot of people even during this time where you're kind of listening to your inner compass. In fact, it might motivate you to do so because I don't think a lot of spiritual people are like willing to go inward again and be like, oh, really? I have to go inside? And like, here we go. The High Priestess. Oh, the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords. Yeah. Oh, I have to go inward again to find my true calling, to figure out what I'm supposed to do. But again, Spirit is saying like, you're not going to be alone. So this is like a spiritual divine counterpart. So it could be a romantic situation. It could be a mentor, teacher, spiritual teacher type of situation and student. It could be a community. It could be soul family. But there is kind of like, you're going to get motivated to go inward again because you're not going to have to go inward alone. Not just for those who are already awakened, but unawakened souls are also not going to have to do it alone. There's the energy of like, it's safe to connect with each other again, because when the dark energies, dark entities were kind of finding us divinely connected souls and like separating us for their own, malicious plans and agenda, that's not happening so much anymore. It's safe for people of light to come together now and not like have to fear being manipulated or broken apart or used as part of like a dark agenda anymore. So it's like you're coming together slowly with other people. That's why the mass awakening, this grand awakening, is happening with people in the collective choosing to get together. But even people who awakened before, you're going to find it's different this new spiritual cycle, because you're not going to be going inward alone, which is weird because going inward is a solo practice, but it's like kind of like meditating by yourself versus meditating alone. Meditating in a group, or like if you're working on an artwork, like it's fine if you work on artwork alone, but working with other people, doing their own artwork, it's kind of that type of energy. Like you're doing your own thing, but with other people. It's like a step in that direction. Because I do feel like a lot of spiritual people need to be coddled. Like they're so willing and wanting to like be finding more resonant people, but then when they find them, they kind of like freeze up, because there's so many instances where a lot of spiritual people find other spiritual people and then it doesn't work out. It's not the right people. You find divine counterparts who are spiritual, and it's like it didn't work out. It makes people freeze. It makes spiritual people freeze, because it's like, although I want to find more spiritually aligned people who resonate with me at this time in my life, during your spiritual awakening, you probably found a lot of people who kind of made you wary of that fact. Okay, work event and acquaintance. Last card here. Crossroads. Yeah, I do feel like there is kind of meeting new people. Multiple. Interesting. Okay, crossroads. I'm gonna look up the number 22. So it's like the master builder number. 22 crossroads. Choices, decisions, and alternatives. Yeah, there's this energy of like alternative timeline I'm hearing. So there's this energy of like, it's gonna feel weird because you're gonna be doing what you've been kind of doing, but with other people. And I can't stress enough how much that feels weird to a lot of spiritual people who've been kind of on their own or working with their same type of soul group, or had so many people filter through. Yeah, there's this energy of like, it's a different type of energy to connect with people who resonate at this time in this new cycle. It's different from the folks in the previous cycle, or if you had not many that resonated. It's overwhelming, I feel like, for a lot of people. So spirit is having you take baby steps. I'm hearing a spirit guide specifically are having you take baby steps into this energy, because you already know what you're doing. It's so powerfully spiritual, but now you're connecting more into the physical with your spiritual energy and your power. So it's kind of different relating to people now, and I'm just getting, it feels weird in your body. All right, so let's go into the second energy with this red tiger's eye. What is the next energy of the collective? It's mostly for light workers, Starseed, people who come across this channel. Like it's for you, but I'm also hinting at people who may not be aligned or not awakened yet, just so you can kind of get the feel for the whole collective. Okay. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Smoothest route in reverse. Okay, taking the difficult path. You are invited, suit up and show up and open up. Okay, so I do feel like you're going to have some sort of social invite. I'm getting this work event came out in reverse, so it's kind of like related to your soul purpose, what you're interested in, but it's not exactly like a job offer or anything, or offer to join a group of a certain interest, or like a service to others kind of group. It's kind of like an invite. They had an extra spot open. Someone invited you last minute, a friend or a friend. It was just something you saw and decided to kind of swing by. I do see kind of like an unexpected invite, and this is definitely the divine working things out, because I do feel like it's kind of inconvenient for you, but even so you feel guided to go. Or if yes, it's somehow inconvenient, the timing, because it's last minute, the distance, how to get there, it is somewhat inconvenient, I'm hearing. Okay. Open like the lotus, flowering spirit, revelation, maturity. I feel like because it's so low pressure and and like so like kind of like you weren't even gonna go or you didn't think much of it, that you kind of present your best self. That usually is how it happens, right? Like it's the person that you don't like that you act like your best self, right? Not the person you don't like, but the person, for example, if someone likes you and you know it and you don't very much like them in the same way, somehow you come off like the coolest, best person, like smoothest, very articulated, well put together, suave, poised person in front of that person. But when it comes to the person that you do like, you kind of fumble and drop things, and right. So I feel like because of how low pressure this situation is, you come out like looking so great. Okay, and it's private. Yeah, so it's okay, interesting. I do feel like you need an invite to go to this event. So it's like not for the public, or if it is, it's like very limited. Um I'm hearing private affair. So it does feel like you make quite an impression on this group of people. It could be a bunch of co-workers, someone like a boss or manager invites you out, an old boss or manager, or a friend you haven't seen for a while and it just happens to be, a big event. It's like, oh, like it's a big event and I should go. It's an old friend, but I haven't seen them for a while. Like, would it make a difference if I go? And it's like, like I think that depending on me, I should go. It's that kind of situation, but you kill it in that crowd. Okay. Physical looks, yeah. You're looking good too. Not only are you presenting well, but in your words and your actions, but also the way that you look, right? Yeah, you look very put together. That you know what you're talking about. Whatever this event is, pal, too. I definitely would go if I were you. Clover, good luck. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. Interestingly enough, it just seems like things change after this event. How so? 7. From the 6 to the 7 of Wands. There's this energy of people want you. I feel like you're going to start getting more and more offers. Maybe career-wise, maybe socially, maybe romantically. But there's something about like your light starts to shine. People can see you now and your beauty inside and out, and they want to be a part of it. And it's kind of like, it's good that it's only leaked to like that small group, because I don't think you could handle a lot more. I feel like this is like the most perfect way for you to come out. I'm getting, quote unquote, like to start shining your light. I feel like Spirit's been trying to get you to kind of step out into the limelight in terms of your purpose, in terms of your career, in terms of your social life, in terms of, traveling more and like talking to more people. But I feel like you've been a little shy. And not the conventional sense. I feel like spiritually shy, because you're like, I feel like for a lot of you, you've been kind of in this energy of like, why bother to talk to this person who might not even understand where I'm coming from? What a waste of breath. And not in a snobbish way, but kind of more in a, you've practiced not saying what's on your mind more than you have actually saying what is on your mind. So this is kind of like the perfect kind of crowd, perfect setting for you to kind of be who you are. And I feel like the energy is light. Like you don't you have your guard down. It feels comfortable. You can be yourself, and you are not intending to do anything. You're just enjoying this event or whatever, helping out where you can, and that's when it hits. It's like, oh, people want your energy. People are going to be wanting your energy more, and that is just one of the first events to kind of catalyze that energy. All right, so the third energy here, this is a sunstone. Let's see what's the next energy for this month. For the unawakened soul, there's this energy of meeting like-minded people. I know a lot of spiritual people are like, oh, they have it so easy, but like, didn't we have people in front of us who made it easy for us? So it's just kind of like, yeah, they're lucky. The fact that they go out and they start meeting a lot of other spiritual people who resonate with them, which is great. Not like you didn't. I just feel like maybe not as much as this new awakening crowd. Okay, a lot of cards. Okay, 2. 9 of Swords in reverse, overwhelmed in reverse, and the Star card, illuminated path. So I feel like there's a lot happening for you starting this month, but you're not overwhelmed, and that's a great thing because I feel like you are very, very ready for what's next, and it's very aligned to your path. For this, you were born. Yeah, see? Foster your intention for incarnating in this dimension. Yeah, I feel like you are very, very ready for what's next. I feel like you have been. Why did this come out in reverse? Okay. So I do feel like even though energetically you feel very ready, there's this energy that you're like waiting for the physical stuff to kind of tell your mind that it's ready. Because I think energetically you are ready and you've been feeling that and you know it. But I just feel like you're a 3D being. You were born in the physical reality. There's a part of your brain that responds to physical stimuli, that responds to the environment, that recognizes that when you're wearing nicer clothes or have a nicer car or house, or that you have people who respond better to you in social situations, that you've kind of made it in some sense, and that doesn't go away. Like you still have your physical brain and the way that it functions, and you might be changing it as much as you can, but you grew up in the way that you did and the environment that you did, and so there's a sense of like, when I see it, I'll believe it, even though you believe it and you're starting to see it. But let's see what Spirit has to say about that. Because a lot of this like new collective, they're coming along because of the people who've paved the path before them. They can physically see, hey, if you make these changes internally, it changes their life externally. There's proof. Like, you don't have to figure things out or use your intuition. When some story comes out about some dark stuff that has happened, there's proof that they can go to and see concrete evidence of and be like, oh yeah, see, this does exist. So there is a sense of like, yeah, you have to see it, you have to believe it to manifest it. But then for others, the 4-minute mile has already been done, and so they can see it now because they can look at the videotape. The dolphin collar, pure joyful friendships, loving help. This Spirit saying like, yes, the physical part will catch up to you, the prosperity, the abundance, material wealth, and money, that is coming soon, and you can feel it with this energy, this new energy. But the way that that Spirit can bring you that energy of abundance so you can feel it more is through people. That is a more divine form of abundance. It's connections with people. So once that comes along, then you'll feel more abundant without seeing the physical things, even though that is coming along with these new ideas and this new energy. All right, so what does this look like? Death and letting go of romantic interest. Something that you're interested in, were interested in. Old age. Okay, virtue. Okay, there's this energy of like thinking how this looks, and this is so hard, and I definitely feel this energy in the collective right now, especially for spiritual teachers. Like, there's this energy of we saw with our predecessors what success in the spiritual line of work or just internally, personally, what spiritual mastery looks like, or what spiritual success looks like. And, you know, it could be like Buddhist monks meditating for their entire lives, or certain dietary restrictions, or presenting themselves in a very peaceful manner, lecturing a group, or being a guru or a shaman of some sort, you know, having your own website where you're teaching other spiritual leaders, and workshops, and you know, meditation retreats of some sort. So there's this energy of like, we grew up seeing our, like, the people who came before us successful in spirituality, whether it's in their personal life or in their career, what it looks like. And we have, that's going to change. That's going to be different for us. There's a new wave coming up from below us, and we're paving the way. It's going to look different for our wave, our group. It's going to, success is going to be different, because we are going to be more connected to the physical realm. So we are going to be putting spiritual energy into other types, lines of work. You know, there are like consultants that come in to help, like, for example, businesses deal with things. There's mediums that helps police officers, detectives kind of find missing persons. There's that type of energy, but this is going to be more permeate into every industry. Like, we kind of see how some people running for local office may be mentioning more spiritual ideas. You know, it's not going to be so taboo to mention that you have these beliefs in any industry. In engineering and architecture is kind of already like spiritual. You can, a lot of architectures, architects work with nature, but like in a lot of industries that you don't necessarily believe so. And we know in the medical industry, there's like a lot of people who go into the holistic side, the more natural side. So that's kind of very believable already, in products and like shampoos and soaps and cleaning products. We already kind of see that. That's kind of makes sense with the ingredients going in that direction. But like, I feel like in even just things like engineering or chefs kind of have that creative edge too. I'm trying to think of something more, like, it would be kind of more shocking. Politics, obviously. I mean, religion was like a really big part of it forever, but I think you're going to see that more politicians are going to be more spiritual. I'm going to be more proud to say it. Actors also, it's not weird to hear them kind of say that. Music, of course, anything creative is kind of like makes sense. Anything that works with nature or being on the outdoors makes sense. I do feel like the husbandry, fishing industries, transportation, like just in every kind of field, it's going to be less and less weird. And kind of makes, like, people are going to be kind of connecting. It's like, oh, I don't know if you should go with that idea over this. My intuition is just saying that. And saying that in a business meeting is kind of like, wow, you know, unless it's sort of like a spiritual industry, like, that is, you got to have known-us to say that. So there's this energy of like, don't be surprised if the way that spirituality comes up and spiritual leadership comes up in the near future looks much different than how we saw it growing up. So kind of letting go of that idea. Kind of being like in front of your family or in front of your employees and being like, you know, my intuition is saying this, or, you know, this is the vision and this is like how I've been led, or this is the information that I've downloaded, or this is like the energy, you know, like I've talked to some guidance. I'm bringing in some practitioners. It's like it's going to be much more different than we think. All right, so then this fourth energy with the red jasper here. And of course, for the unawakened collective, this is just going to be like this new normal. They're like, oh, this is what we're doing now, you know, but they don't see like us spiritual leaders in this wave are the ones paving the way for that. And I do get like this kind of coming out of the closet. This whole like fight with identity. Like I understand it because I feel for people, like they want to reach for something bigger than themselves, but they are only jailed in their physical way of seeing the world, and it's kind of like, or their mind is kind of, unfortunately, has been trapped, and so they're not fully allowed to kind of reach to something bigger, and they're given something bigger to look to. But if you look at it, so many people want to go on their journey to find their identity, and what if people were given the proper tools? All right, anyway, so they just kind of, there's a lot of sheep, unfortunately, out there that will go along with the flow. But if most people want what's best for everyone else, and the spiritual leaders, the leaders of our community actually genuinely want what's best for the community, then in the long run, it will be best for the collective as well. People just kind of go along with what the people in power say, and fortunately, that's us now, people who worked on their personal power. All right, so this last energy here, we have Judgment in reverse, the deep unknown. Decision has been made. So everything's kind of set up. The stage is set. We've already known that. Everything's just kind of playing out now. How much good can you handle? Explore the upward spiral of grace. And it came out in reverse because I feel like it's kind of this energy of like, this is just starting and we have a ways to go, but it's just starting, and there's this energy of, can you handle this much good? A lot of like, that's why I'm saying a lot of spiritual people have been manifesting and wanting all these like grand big visions, and that's great. You've been working on it, and it will come through sooner than for the collective because you've been working on it for longer. But I do feel like there's like a sort of resistance to all the good things coming. It's like you want all these things, but now that it's real and it's in front of you and you can almost touch it, now your mind starts playing tricks. It's like, oh my goodness, can I handle this? Is this what I want? Like, what if it doesn't work out? What if it looks differently than I thought? What if it's not perfect? Nothing is. And it's just kind of all these questions when something is about to be real and manifest, different questions come up for you. And it's the thing that you've always wanted. Now that it's within reach, there might be some inner work in regards to being okay with peace and quiet and stability and security and being aligned with your purpose and living your dreams and being happy every day. It's a weird sensation, and I do feel like a lot of people like not living without fear, being a respected public person in society, like being more, kind of your energy being presented outward, being more out there. It's a weird sensation for a lot of people, having your work being looked at by extended family members, old friends, old exes, people, possible potential future employers. It's just like a very weird energy when things start becoming tangible. And I feel like for a lot of light workers, starseeds, and spiritual teachers in general, and warriors, like there's this energy of like, things are going to get really, really good. Your spirit guides understand that like you might need some baby steps there, even if you don't think so. You're like, I just want to be in that life right now. It's like, if you win the lottery, do you think you'd be able to handle it? And a lot of people would be like, yes, of course, I know what to do. But you don't until you get there. It's like, how do you know? Like you can't tell until it happens to you. So like your spirit guides are being very cautious and kind of leading you gently through this process. Okay. Returning home, transition, life between lifetimes, and loving welcome. Of course, there's this energy of entering 5D, finding your community, finding your aligned purpose, and being very, very well protected because of that. And being like, generally happy every day. Like, when you kind of clear all the kind of layers of darkness and distractions and, all these cobwebs that were kind of keeping you down in terms of your body and health, in terms of your mind and thoughts, in terms of your, what was kind of thrown at you whenever you walk down the streets with marketing and restaurants and people. Like, it's just like, once you kind of clear that energy and you kind of return home to your 5D energy and higher, you're able to live the life you were meant to live. And it feels weird. I'm not gonna lie, and I said that a few times during this reading, and it's just because it is. It's going to feel weird, and I don't think a lot of people are prepared for it. But you will be. You're getting prepared for it. It's coming quick, so it's not going to take much time. But I do feel like Spirit has been kind of you've probably seen a little bit of a push. Like, for example, if you needed to finish a task and it's necessary for something to get going, you're going to see that Spirit bring something in to make sure that you finish that task faster and not wait till later this week, the weekend, or next week, or later this month or next month. Like, you're going to get things done. Spirit's going to push you appropriately so that you can kind of get ready for this energy coming in. I'm hearing for a lot of you, they didn't think that you weren't going to be able to handle it, but now realizing, because they don't understand what it's like to be a physical human being, like, in this physical world. So they didn't realize it, but I think your higher self and the way that you've kind of reacted to certain good things happening in your life recently, they realize, we need to figure something out for, beautiful spiritual teacher here, this beautiful soul over here, because we need to make sure that this is coming now, and we got to get them ready, because they didn't realize that you might need a little bit more walking into that energy rather than just diving right into it. Celebration, of course, this is a sign of good times and good fortune, good things coming. Entertainment, gaming, social events, and came out in reverse. I do feel like you're going to be celebrating a lot, but maybe more privately, maybe with a close few, maybe with new people. But even with new people, I feel like you take some time after to kind of integrate and accept that energy and integrate it and feel it's okay. There's this energy of I do think it's a bit of a surprise to you how good things can get. I do feel like your body is kind of not rejecting, but slightly rejecting the notion of being happiness. It's like your body can't handle it, and it's just because you haven't felt it for so long. So don't be surprised if things start changing pretty quickly, especially because I saw this clearing of the cobwebs. So just kind of being in that heightened state for a prolonged period of times, you're going to have that kundalini energy, that sacral sexual energy going up and down your body. You're going to feel, very positive. You're not going to be able to sleep as much. You're going to have a lot of energy, a lot of creative bursts, a lot of divine ideas shooting into your head. Feeling very grateful and happy as you kind of notice little things throughout your day. And it's just and then wanting to just kind of have fun, but then also wanting to do a million other things at the same time. Having a lot of thoughts and being kind of overly excited. There's this energy of learning to maintain that energy and being kind of cool, calm, collected, because otherwise you're just gonna look like a really excited 3-year-old to people. So it's how to learn how to be poised in a situation. Bear, power, boss, yeah. There is this energy of yes, you are a spiritual leader, but that's going to be reflected in the physical with actually being a spiritual leader in the physical in some sort of way. There is a promotion coming up. I do hear being a leader of an actual physical group here, workplace, business, whatever it is for you. And you are being prepared for it. I don't think it would be too long with the Knight of Wands there. What is this? Yeah, and like with the star card here and star card here, how much you can handle. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a resistance for people watching this reading. It's like, no, of course, when things are good, I'm going to be happy. It's like, yeah, but have you ever been like extremely happy and then have like a really, really big dip the day after because it doesn't compare to the happiness that you had the day before or something like that? So there's this energy of like learning how to like maintain it. There's so many people who haven't like learned how to be like happy or content consistently, or not have to do inner work all the time, or to kind of merge the spiritual with the physical. It's you've been out of practice and don't deny it. And so when spirit gives you an opportunity to kind of practice being in that energy and good things coming to you, because this energy of like even being overly excited or overly exuberant and happy is sometimes like you have to kind of learn how to maintain your emotions. So like you had to maintain your emotions when you were in your low energies and like darker, deeper, negative energies. But now with like a lot of different types of high level emotions coming through, like it's still going to be some practice maintaining that. So it's a different type of spiritual work, see, but we're still kind of moving forward. There is a new spiritual cycle start happening. A lot of you already know it, can feel it, can see it. And so I'm very happy for us and our wave and the whole collective. And I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I wish you much love and light.